Let's start with a number that should hit you right in the gut. By some estimates, the war in Afghanistan has cost Pakistan's economy over $150 billion since 2001. That is not a typo. $150 billion. That's enough money to fundamentally transform a developing nation. Build world-class hospitals. Build universities. Build infrastructure from the ground up. Instead, for Pakistan, it was the price of admission for being next door to a 4-decade-long conflict. This wasn't a bill that arrived in a single envelope. It was a slow, agonizing bleed, an economic death by 1,000 cuts. It has shaped the country's destiny in ways that are often unseen and tragically underreported. To really get our heads around this, we need a simple timeline. Think of it in 4 acts. Act 1, 1979. The Soviet Union invades Afghanistan. Millions of Afghan refugees pour into Pakistan, a wave that never truly receded. Act 2, 1989. The Soviets leave, but chaos deepens. A brutal civil war erupts, creating more refugees and entrenching a war economy on Pakistan's border. Act 3, 2001. 9/11 changes everything. The United States and its allies arrive. Act 4, 2021. U.S. withdraws. The Taliban retakes Kabul. Pakistan is left to manage the fallout. When the Soviet tanks first rolled into Afghanistan, they triggered a human exodus of biblical proportions. Over 3 million Afghans crossed into Pakistan, seeking safety. This wasn't a temporary visit. Many of those families are now into their 3rd generation in Pakistan. In 2021, following the Taliban's return to power, another wave arrived. Over 1 million more people sought refuge. For context, that's like the entire population of Austin, Texas, moving to a neighboring country in months. This influx placed an unimaginable and sustained strain on public resources already stretched thin. Let's talk about what that strain looks like on the ground. Take a public hospital in a city like Peshawar, Quetta. Before the influx, it might have been operating at full capacity. Now it's at 150% capacity. The wait times have doubled. The supply of essential medicines runs out faster. Local schools, already crowded with 50 kids to a classroom, now have 70. When the demand for water, electricity, healthcare, education explodes without matching supply, everyone feels the pressure, especially the poorest. Consider Khalid, a day laborer on the outskirts of Karachi. Now he competes with a larger pool, often accepting lower wages. It's a classic case of supply and demand. Daily wages fall. Every rupee spent managing refugees is a rupee not spent on roads or reducing load shedding, a constant, draining trade-off. For centuries, this border was a bustling corridor of trade. Goods flowed back and forth. Culture flowed back and forth. People flowed back and forth. The war severed many of these formal economic arteries. Official trade became a high-risk, low-reward venture. Imagine you're a Pakistani fruit exporter, stuck at Torkham or Chaman. Closures, security threats, bureaucratic chaos. By the time your shipment gets through, the fruit has spoiled. You've lost your entire investment. After a few times, you decide it's not worth it. Repeated thousands of times, formal trade declined dramatically. For tribal districts, border trade was the economy. When the border shuts, incomes vanish overnight. Nature abhors a vacuum. When formal routes choke, illegal ones flourish. Smuggling became institutionalized. Electronics, tires, fuel, food. It cripples domestic industry and starves the treasury of customs and taxes. Transit trade leakage. Goods meant for Afghanistan leak into Pakistan, costing billions and tilting the field against legitimate business. This is not small-time theft. It's organized, sustained, and corrosive to formal growth. The war in Afghanistan didn't stay in Afghanistan. It bled across as militancy, terrorism, and violence. Pakistan ramped up security spending. More troops, more checkpoints, bigger police and intelligence budgets. Every dollar on a vest or operation is a dollar not spent on a textbook, a hospital bed, or a highway. Skewed budgets squeeze social sectors, human development lags, education and health spending stayed among the lowest in the region. A single bomb blast does more than claim lives. It shatters consumer confidence. People stay away. Services suffer. Businesses lose customers, lay off workers, sometimes shut down. Destroyed infrastructure costs millions to rebuild, diverting funds from productive investment. Necessary checkpoints slow goods movement, adding a hidden security tax to the economy. Factories get inputs late. Farmers' perishables wait in queues. Delays that compound across millions of transactions. These frictions act like a brake on efficiency and growth. The opportunity cost is generational. When immediate threats dominate, long-term investments in people get postponed, and the postponement has lasted decades. Recovery demands rebalancing priorities. Capital is a coward. Foreign investors seek stability, predictability, safety. The headlines said otherwise. So many crossed Pakistan off their list. FDI, lifeblood for industries and jobs, stagnated or fell during conflict peaks. Why build a car factory or a software park in a place perceived as a war zone? The investment chill cascaded across sectors and generations. Even expatriates held back. Fewer factories, fewer upgrades, fewer jobs. A young, talented population faced capped potential, not for lack of ability, but because risk overshadowed reward. As a frontline state, Pakistan received significant aid, military and economic. Aid stabilized reserves and funded some projects. But it was unpredictable and transactional, tied to shifting geopolitics, creating dependency. When relations soured, taps shut, projects stalled, planners faced whiplash. Much was military, not capacity building. Aid often acted like a painkiller, masking deeper disease. It complicated policy at home and abroad, without guaranteeing durable growth. The war turned Afghanistan into the world's leading producer of opium, and Pakistan into a primary highway. The narcotics economy is a cancer, fueling addiction and burdening healthcare. It injects black money, distorting markets, buy property, corrupt officials, finance crime. Legitimate business cannot compete with untaxed fortunes. Prices inflate, fairness erodes. Lawlessness supercharged smuggling, consumer goods, weapons, timber, precious gems. Illegal arms fed violent crime and extortion. Businesses paid for private security just to survive. Shadow economies erode state authority, corrupt justice, resist reform and taxation. When the economy goes underground, broad taxation and regulation become nearly impossible. The conflict weakened the state's capacity to build a modern, formal economy. To put it all together, this was a domestic economic catastrophe unfolding over 4 decades. Refugees strained services and wages, formal trade withered, security costs soared, shadow economies flourished. The sum, $150 billion, lost growth, missed opportunities, human suffering. So, what's the path forward? No magic wand, just a radical, sustained pivot. Treat education as national security. Reallocate to human capital and skills. That's how you start paying down a 4 decades bill.